At the outset, I would like to offer my humble pranams to Bhagavan Baba, whose grace alone is making it possible for me to broadcast this series over Radio Sai. Loving Sai Ram and greetings from Prashanti Nilayam. In my last talk, I had started on the Kishkinda Kandam, and I stopped at the point where Sugriva completed a story of how he was driven out by Vali with just the dress he was wearing. Let me pick up from that point. Rama, who was keenly listening to Vali's narration, nodded his head and said, this was a kind of a reply. Rama said, Sugriva, having heard your story in full, I understand why you live in constant dread. But be assured that I shall take care of Vali and that soon you would regain all that you lost. Sugriva felt greatly uplifted and thanked Rama profusely, adding, Rama, at this point it is my duty to appraise you of Vali's incredible strength, because that might help you in preparing for the encounter with him. For example, just taking a few strides and with effortless ease, Vali can cross from the western to the eastern ocean. Similarly, climbing up a mountain peak, he can pluck neighboring mountains with the same ease as one plucks flowers. Not merely that, having plucked mountain tops, he can toss them up and catch them as they come down, rather like a juggler does. In this context, I must not forget to mention what Vali did to Dundubi, the younger brother of Mayavi and a demon with the strength of 1,000 elephants. Banking on the protection he had earned through various austerities, Dundubi once assumed the form of a massive buffalo and challenged the ocean to a combat. Though mighty, the ocean declined to accept the challenge, as that would interfere with his duties. Gently and skillfully, the ocean deflected the challenger, saying, O Dundubi, if fight you must to prove your mettle, then clearly you should tangle with an adversary who matches you in strength. In my perception, Himavan, the lord of the mountains and the father-in-law of Lord Shiva, is such a one. He is really the one you must challenge. Drunk with ego, Dundubi rushed to the Himalayas to challenge Himavan, who gently replied, Dundubi, I am an ascetic, and you must be aware that ascetics do not engage in combat. Disappointed and angry, Dundubi roared, What's happening? Everyone I go to says he cannot fight. Himavan, if you cannot fight, then name one who is worthy of fighting with me. Himavan replied, Dundubi, you will meet your match in Vali. Go and fight with him. Who is this Vali and where can I find him? Vali is the son of Indra and he lives in Kishkinda. He is the proper match for you, said Himavan. Sugriva continued. Rama, without wasting a second, Dundubi rushed to Kishkinda, entered the city after smashing the city gate, and challenged Vali with a mighty roar. Vali, who at that time was enjoying the company of his wives, heard the commotion and came out followed by his consorts. On seeing a buffalo of mountainous proportions and with huge horns, Vali said condescendingly, Dundubi, I can recognize you. Why do you unnecessarily bother me like this? If you know what is good for you, you would run away for your life from here. I have warned you, and the rest is up to you. Enraged by the contempt with which Vali treated him, Dundubi cried out, Vali, you have two choices. Either you fight with me right now, or if you so wish, you can go back to enjoying your sensual pleasures. I shall not come in the way of that. Instead, I shall control my temper and wait for you till the morning, at which time you can say goodbye to all your near and dear and prepare to meet me. I shall then teach you a fitting lesson before sending you to the other world. Sugriva continued. Rama, Vali could not take this insult. Commanding his wife Tara and the rest of his consorts to go inside at once, Vali turned to Dundubi and said slowly but with deep anger, Dundubi, it is evident that you vastly underestimated me. Soon you would realize what a grievous mistake you have made. Quickly wearing a necklace gifted to him by Indra that would grant him protection, Vali lunged towards Dundubi and fiercely attacked in all manners possible. A fierce battle raged for a while, but slowly Vali got the upper hand. Eventually, Vali seized Dundubi by the horns and smashed him to the ground, killing Dundubi. It did not end there. Picking up the carcass, Vali hurled it with a mighty heave far into the distance. And even as he did so, blood from the dead buffalo sprayed the ground from the air all the way on the forest below and on the premises of the holy hermitage of sage Matanga. The holy sage was deeply perturbed by the pollution caused to his ashram. Using his yogic powers, sage Matanga instantly knew that Vali was behind this atrocity. He then pronounced, I hereby forbid that perverted Vanara, who, while hurling a dead buffalo, not only caused damage to many trees in the sacred forest, but also caused blood pollution of this holy and sacred neighborhood. I forbid that he does not come anywhere near this place. If by any chance that evildoer dares to come close to this ashram or even enter the sacred forest around, he shall drop dead instantly. Many of his tribe move around these forests that have been nurtured by my devoted disciples and by me. These monkeys should forthwith withdraw and go away elsewhere immediately. Enough is enough. If any of them dare to trespass or violate my command in any manner, the monkey that remains in the forbidden premises would at once be transformed into a rock and remain in that state for thousands of years. Totally absorbed, Rama listened intently while Sugriva continued. Rama, the Vanaras who were moving about in the neighborhood of sage Matanga's ashram stopped to hear the sage's curse. Promptly they rushed to Vali to inform him of all that happened. Vali immediately understood the implications of the curse pronounced and tried to meet the sage to seek pardon through atonement. The sage, however, refused to see Vali. Resigning himself, Vali has since then avoided coming anywhere near these forests, the Rishimukha mountain in particular. It is said that he is even afraid to look at the mountain, that's why I hide here. Over there lies the huge skeleton of Dundubi, which is all that is left of the mountainous carcass that Vali picked up and flung afar, with as much ease as one would fling a small pebble. Do you see over there 7 huge sal trees with many low branches full of leaves? Simply by shaking those trees, Vali could make all the leaves drop to the ground. Such is his physical strength. Listening all to this, Lakshmana began to laugh. Puzzled, Sugriva turned to Lakshmana, who said, Sugriva, it is obvious you do not have the foggiest idea of Rama's might and power. And it appears you want some proof of what Rama can do that would match or excel Vali's skill and dexterity. Why don't you come out in the open and state what exactly you would like Rama to do as a demonstration of his ability? Relieved that Lakshmana had clearly read his mind and spared him the embarrassment of explaining to Rama what he wanted, Sugriva replied, Lakshmana, in the past I have seen Vali pierce these trees with arrows one after another. I would feel highly secure if Rama could split one of these trees with a single arrow. There is also another proof of prowess that Rama could give. If using a single foot Rama can arrange to fling the bones of Dundubi to a great distance, that would reassure me considerably. Sugriva then waited to see Rama's reaction, avoiding at the same time direct eye contact. Rama remained silent while Lakshmana just watched. Suddenly, Sugriva began to feel quite embarrassed, wondering whether he had inadvertently given offense to Rama by asking for proof of his skills and might. In an apologetic tone, he submitted, "Rama, please forgive me for saying all that I did just now. Believe me, I was in no way seeking to belittle you. At the same time, I do hope you would understand the anguished and petrified state in which I live here, fearing the worst all the time. Vali and I grew up together, and I know all about his might, the equal of which I have not seen anywhere till now. Time and again I have been a witness to how he disposed of his adversaries with effortless ease. It is that past history that made me speak the way I did. Once more, I seek your forgiveness, especially if I have given you offense in any manner." Responding with a smile, Rama said, "Sugriva, I fully understand. Just watch, and I shall give you the proof you wanted, perhaps more." Standing erect and with the help of just one toe, Rama lifted the entire skeleton of Dundubi and sent it flying over a distance of 10 yojanas, estimated to be about 120 kilometers. It was truly an astonishing performance. But overwhelmed with doubts as he was, Sugriva reacted softly. "That was impressive, no doubt. But I should mention for the record that when Vali flung the carcass across a huge distance, it was not just the weight of the bones that he lifted, but that of the entire carcass, that is to say, the weight of the bones along with that of the flesh and blood. Moreover, we must also remember that Vali had just completed a protracted battle and was in a pretty exhausted state. Forgive me, please, but I think some allowances ought to be made for those factors. Rama, I beg of you not to think that I continue to be riddled with doubts about your supreme eminence and capabilities. At the same time, if you were in my shoes, you would appreciate that having seen thus far only the power and skills of Vali, how much more confidence I would gain by actually witnessing infinitely superior talents and might in one who by the grace of God I can now claim to be my friend." Hearing this, Rama smiled and nodded to indicate that he fully understood how Sugriva stood torn between doubt and hope. Silently positioning himself so that all the 7 saltaries were in one line in front of him, Rama then inserted an arrow into his bow and sent the arrow flying after taking careful aim. Speeding like lightning and piercing one by one all the 7 trees, the arrow thereafter tore into the earth, came out at another spot, and then returned to Rama's quiver. Completely bowled over with ecstasy, Sugriva fell at Rama's feet offering humble salutations. Choked with emotions, he said, "Rama, I am at a loss for words. All I can say is that today I have for my friend one who is the equal of Indra and Varuna, as a result of which my perpetual fear of Vali has totally disappeared." Happy that all doubts had been removed, Rama then embraced Sugriva and said, "Let us not waste any more time. Sugriva, I wanted to proceed forthwith to Kishkinda and challenge Vali to a duel. After that, leave the rest to me." The entire group then headed for Kishkinda and positioned itself in a forest outside the city, while Sugriva went to Vali's palace and roared his challenge from the gate. Taken by surprise, Vali came out to investigate. Seeing that Sugriva was there, Vali flew into a rage and lunged at his brother, who skillfully drew Vali into the forest, where Rama had positioned himself behind a tree. The two Vanara brothers then fought fiercely, but since they looked so much alike, Rama could not clearly distinguish who was who, and thus faced a predicament. Meanwhile, Sugriva patiently waited for Rama to strike, even as he suffered heavy punishment at the hands of Vali. Finally, thoroughly exhausted and unable to face Vali anymore, Sugriva fled and took refuge in Matangavana, the forest nursed by sage Matanga, which Vali could not enter on account of the sage's curse. Watching all this from a distance, Rama and Lakshmana felt very sorry for Sugriva. Soon they caught up with him, and on seeing the brothers, Sugriva cried piteously, "Rama, what happened to you? Where were you when I needed you most? You asked me to challenge Vali, which I dutifully did, in the full hope and belief that you would take care of him. However, all that happened was that Vali pulverized me, leaving me with all these wounds you now see on me. If I had known you were not ready to act, I would never have challenged Vali in the first place." Responding softly, Rama said, "Sugriva, I know exactly how you feel. But you must also appreciate the unenviable situation I was caught in. When you two brothers were engaged in hand-to-hand combat, you looked so much alike in all respects that I was quite confused as to who was who. That is why I held back, because under no circumstance did I want to accidentally kill you, mistaking you to be Vali. Remember, both Lakshmana and I very much need your help. That being the case, how could I take the risk of killing you, even if by mistake? What has happened, and let us not spend too much time reviewing the past. Looking to the future, I would like you to challenge Vali once more. This time, I assure you that there shall be no mistake or any hesitancy on my part, for I have devised a way of distinguishing clearly between you two brothers." Turning to Lakshmana, Rama said, "Brother, do you see here this sacred creeper named Gajapushpi? Pluck it and adorn Sugriva's neck with it. That would help me to clearly distinguish and differentiate between the twin-like brothers." Lakshmana did that, and in an instant Sugriva felt thoroughly refreshed and strong. Bowing to Rama and taking his blessing, once more he strode towards Kishkinda, followed by Rama, Lakshmana and several of his ministers and generals, including Hanuman and Neela. As the party approached the outskirts of Kishkinda, Sugriva let out a mighty roar to announce to Vali that he was back. Turning to Rama, he then said, "Sorry about mentioning it, but I do hope that today the objective for which we have come here would be realized." Overlooking the implied doubt in Sugriva, Rama responded most compassionately and said, "Sugriva, last time there was a genuine problem of proper identification. This time, thanks to the sacred creeper you are wearing round your neck, that difficulty no longer exists. Be therefore rest assured that Vali would not last long. I am a man sworn to protect my given word, and you must have full faith in me. Now go ahead and challenge Vali in a manner that he cannot shrink from giving you a fight." Sugriva bowed and turned to loudly announce once more to Vali that he was back and mounting a fresh challenge, even as Rama and the others positioned themselves suitably behind various trees near the battleground. Impetuous and intolerant as Vali was by nature, the fresh challenge of Sugriva not only caused him great surprise, especially after the severe thrashing he had given Sugriva earlier, but also infuriated him considerably, particularly as he was in female company and found the remarks hurled at him to be quite demeaning. Fuming and eyes blazing, he rose, gnashing his teeth, even as his wife Tara tried to restrain him and offer wise counsel. Speaking softly and in a gentle manner, she said, "Dear husband, it is night and pitch dark outside. I don't think it is wise to go out and fight at this time. You are trying to do so because you are consumed with anger. Anger is the worst amongst enemies. Calm down for the present, and if indeed you have to fight, why not wait till the morning? Something within me tells me, warns me, that it is not good for you to go out right now. Please listen to me. By the way, it is not as if I alone have some foreboding. A short while ago, our dear son Angada brought some disturbing news that you must know about. What was it that Angada told you that is so disturbing to you? Asked Wali. Tara replied, apparently after what happened earlier, our son had, as a measure of caution, most thoughtfully sent some spies who reported back with alarming information. What did the spies learn that is so alarming? Well, it appears that two princes from Ayodhya, Rama and Lakshmana by name, have come here. Rama is famed for his martial skills as well as might, and it seems that he has promised to help Sugriva to overcome you. In any case, Sugriva is your brother, and even though you might not see it that way, he was loyal to you before this difference of opinion erupted. I think it is best for you to go back to your old loving relationship instead of being sucked into an adversarial one, which is unquestionably dangerous for you. Once more I plead with you, please pay heed to my words, for a wife can wish nothing but the best for her husband. Brave and wise words spoken by a most loyal and loving wife, but when death sends out a powerful call, can all the wisdom in the world stop what is fated? Wali briefly reprimanded Tara, but made up for it by warmly embracing her. Tara then went round Wali 3 times before prostrating at his feet as a mark of respect. As she bade a tearful farewell, Wali consoled her, saying, Don't worry, Tara, I shall emerge the victor for sure. I shall merely punish Sugriva and not kill him, and ensure that he never bothers us again. Be cheerful during my absence. Wali then strode out with a vain gait, fully confident that he would take care of Sugriva in a few brief moments. As earlier, the encounter between the two brothers started with a vitriolic verbal exchange. Followed then the actual combat, which was very fierce. While Wali was wearing the chain given to him by Indra, around Sugriva's neck was the distinctive sacred creeper that Lakshmana had carefully wrapped. Thus, unlike the earlier occasion, Rama was clearly able to distinguish between the two brothers. And even as Wali was gaining the upper hand, Rama, who was hidden behind a tree as before, took careful aim and discharged a most powerful arrow. As the arrow fled towards its target, there was a thunderous sound that caused the animals in the forest to run helter-skelter. Piercing Wali in the chest and causing a serious injury, the arrow felled him but did not kill. Wali shrieked with pain and soon lost consciousness. Walking slowly towards Wali, Rama and Lakshmana stood near him and observed carefully. Whatever he might have been, there was an indisputable radiance around Wali, and justifiably so, for after all, was he not the son of Indra, the Lord of Heavens? Even as the two princes in exile stood looking at him, Wali regained consciousness and saw Rama and Lakshmana. Summoning whatever strength he could, Wali said to Rama in a feeble voice, What have I done to die at your hands when I was engaged in a combat with someone else? O Prince, I have heard much about your greatness and virtuous qualities, but what you have done belies all that I have heard. I was warned about you by my wife Tara, but I did not expect you would intervene in this manner in a fight between me and my brother. Is this befitting of a Kshatriya, and that too one who has mastered the scriptures? Is such an act expected of a member of the distinguished lineage to which you belong? If you had approached me for help instead of Sugriva, I would have personally captured Ravana and delivered him to you alive, besides restoring your wife. However, all that talk is of no avail now. Some day or the other, death takes away every being born on earth, and that day has come for me, although it need not have come in this manner. In any event, as I prepare to ascend to heaven, I want to make it known that after I am gone, Sugriva should succeed me and ascend the throne of Kishkinda. I would also like to know, before I breathe my last, your explanation for slaying me hiding behind a tree when I was battling someone else. Totally exhausted, Vali then fell silent, looking up to Rama for an answer. Speaking slowly and softly, Rama said most compassionately, Vali, you are making ill-advised comments without proper appreciation of the difference between right and wrong, not knowing who on this earth wields authority. To put it bluntly, it is your monkey mind that has sought to condemn me. Let me therefore place recent happenings in the correct perspective so that you have a better understanding of my actions. To start with, I should mention that Manu, the original progenitor from whom came everything on this globe, including forests, animals and humans, bequeathed the entire earth with all that it holds to the Ikshvaku dynasty, to which I belong. Members of this dynasty thus have eternal responsibility of sustaining Sathya and Dharma on this planet, everywhere and at all times. In turn, this responsibility vests members of my dynasty with every authority to put down adharma on all occasions without exception and punish evildoers appropriately. Now, keeping that in mind, let us look at your track record. If that is done, it follows immediately that you stand condemned by your own thoughtless actions, of which I shall mention only one. Consider what happened after you returned from a prolonged absence. You drove out Sugriva, grabbed his wife and began cohabiting with her. This is against all canons of Dharma. Sugriva's wife being equivalent to your daughter-in-law, the act you have committed is nothing but incest, which is punishable with death. There are any number of precedents for punishing violations of Dharma, especially serious ones. An ancestor of mine named Emperor Mandata executed a monk for committing a similar sin. Protection of Dharma devolves on rules laid down, and along with that duty comes the right to render justice and award punishment. There is, however, a silver lining to all this, indicated by Manu himself, who says that those who have undergone punishment by kings become stainless thereafter and ascend to heaven. On the other hand, a king who fails to punish incurs sin. I hope what I have told you would help you to realize the wrongs you have committed. Besides the issue of punishing you, I must also mention that I have pledged friendship to Sugriva and sworn to it by fire. My friendship with Sugriva is as irrevocable and as firm as the bond between me and my brother Lakshmana. I have promised Sugriva that I would help him to get back his wife, and a word once given cannot be taken back. There are thus two reasons why I shot a fatal arrow at you. Totally overwhelmed, Vali, who was rapidly sinking, replied, palms joined in deep respect and in a feeble voice, O Rama, can a dwarf argue with a giant? I will say no more except to make a special and fervent plea to you. Please assure me of two things. Firstly, about my only son Angada, and then about my dear wife Tara, both of whom would soon be without me. Angada is young and mighty, but not yet mature. He needs guidance, and I request that you not only personally mentor him, but also show him the same affection you have for Lakshmana and Bharata. Also, please ensure that there is the best of understanding between Angada and Sugriva, soon to be the new ruler. Let me now express my concerns about the future of dear Tara. She did her best to stop me from coming here today, but fate dragged me nonetheless. She is a noble woman, and I request you to see that under no circumstance does Sugriva treat Tara with disrespect. I have nothing more to say. Well, dear listeners, I think I shall stop here for the day. Thank you for being with me, and I do hope you felt uplifted hearing this narration of Valmiki Ramayana coming to you via Radio Sai. I trust you would not fail to join me again next week at the same time for the resumption of the story. Till then, all the best. With much humility and love, I offer this talk to our beloved Swami. Jai Sai Ram.